Let me be honest with you, the golden era of tech is no longer exists. And I'm saying that because back in the days, in the early 2010s, there was a golden era for tech companies. There's a lot of demand for developers, and therefore there's always massive hirings and there's easier interview process comparing to what it is now. However, that era is far away from us now. In the past 3 years, I don't even think that we can even call tech a good job anymore. It's not stable as how it used to be, and it is really draining to go through rounds and rounds of interviews. So now, especially in today's market, I would just need to sum up into one word of the job market: rough. And it's generally really daunting to go through all of these interview process to land a job as an experienced developer. So in today's video, I wanted to share a few of my thoughts and my takeaways for the current job market in 2024 as a front-end developer. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this today is because front-end developers back in 2019 or even earlier than that was really high demanded by a lot of companies. However, now the future holds for front-end developers are very uncertain, and I wanted to share a few of my thoughts and how you could market yourself if you are a front-end developer or you are looking to become a front-end developer in 2024. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicky May and I am a software developer in New York City. I was introduced to tech in 2016, and back then I was a data analyst. I switched my career in 2018 and I became a software developer. Now looking back with 5+ years of software development experiences and also data analytics experiences, I would say the tech market right now is just not great. And I have been sharing a lot of videos about that. I know a lot of you might be saying that I'm being a little bit of negative, and a lot of my past videos I'm very optimistic about tech, but I generally cannot lie to you. I'm hyped as it was back in the early 2010s. Tech has not been the same, and honestly, moving forward, it's not going to be the same anymore. It's going to be similar to where we are right now. So I have been actively looking for jobs in the past couple months, and I wanted to share a few of my takeaways and my thoughts about this job market. I can tell you it wasn't easy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat and tell you this is going to be the best industry to get into anymore. However, I can give you some of my takeaways and some of my thoughts. And here is the thing. The market has been rough for almost every single software developers, not just front end, not just back end, not just full stack, not just DevOps. It's everyone. Everyone is impacted. And the reason for that is because a lot of the companies are going through financial struggles right now. The economy isn't doing well. We all know that. Even though the news has been saying that started to pick up. However, in tech, a lot of the software companies are running out of budget, is having a hard time to raise funding, is harder for them to budget into hiring massive of developers. And therefore, it is a supply-demand situation where you see the supply is significantly higher than the demand. And this is why a lot of us are struggling to look for a job right now, because it's not the same like how it used to when the demand is way higher than the supply. The market has made a change right now. And a lot of the companies are being economical right now when it comes to hiring. They want to hire a contractor because they don't have to think about paying for benefits, and they wanted to outsource so then they can have a more affordable developers overseas. One of the reasons why the market is very competitive right now, because you're not just competing with developers in your area, you're competing with developers all over the world. And that's really rough, because you're competing with people who generally don't have the same living standards, don't have the same living cost as you. And right now, the market and the companies are looking for a developer who can do 2-person's job. They want 2 developers for the price of 1. Ever since the massive of layoffs, there is a suppressed of developers that are floating in the job market. And now you also have recent grads from either universities or coding bootcamps at the same time looking for jobs, and they're just generally isn't that many out there. Even if there's 10 jobs every day that's available, you're competing with a lot more senior developers who are looking for the same position as you and willing to lower their salary to compete with you. That's one of the hard thing already for developers, where you got a lot of other developers who are more experienced to compete with you. And then you also have the rise of AIs, the hypes of no code or low code to replace developers. Now, I wanted to be very clear that I don't think that AIs can completely replace developers. However, I do think that AI and tons of different AI tools will definitely reduce the amount of developers that are needed for certain tasks. So that being said, just think of like in the past, you probably need 2 developers to accomplish this task. But now, because of AI, developers are more efficient. So therefore, they probably just need 1 developer to finish the same task as what it would need back in the days for 2 developers. And that is also something that is generally concerning, especially for front-end developers, because we're already seeing that they're reducing a lot of designers. There's a lot of design that is already made from AI. So front-end work could also get a little bit reduced because of the rise of AI. Okay, even though they all sound really upsetting and concerning, but I wanted to point out that even though the market isn't great right now for front-end developers, for all developers, the good news is there will always be demand for front-end development. There's always going to be demand for a better user experiences. Front-end development will always remain a valuable field no matter what. Unfortunately, right now, you're just not gonna have much luck if you are aiming to enter this field or breaking into tech right now. Especially if you're marketing yourself as a front-end developer, it's not a great choice right now. So what do you need to think about right now is to expand your knowledge beyond just front-end development, beyond just web development. Right now, what I'm seeing a lot of times, what the market needs is 2 developers who are doing like 1 job. So think of it as a company is looking for a developer who can do both front end and back end. A lot of times they don't know that's not realistic. You are not gonna find somebody who's gonna know everything and also know everything in depth. It's really hard to look for somebody like that. And if you are going to look for somebody like that, it's not gonna cost less than if you were gonna hire 2 person. However, that's what companies are looking for right now. They're looking for somebody who has the experience in front end and also have the experience in back end. And if they need to put them in different need, then they can. So what that means is that as a front-end developer, you need to think about adding back-end to your knowledge, to your skill sets. It would be nice to have somebody who already had experience in the front-end field, but also knows a lot of the back-end knowledge. So if you're currently looking to expand your knowledge, I would highly recommend to look for ways to improve learning about back-end, learning about APIs, and learning about SQL, learning about different databases. And that would be a really great way to add your knowledge into your front-end development. Now, I also think it's really important to market yourself as a full-stack developer instead of marketing yourself just for front-end. I know this is not ideal, but a lot of times companies do look for somebody who can wear different hats. So if you have the experience in front-end and you're willing to do work that is in between front-end and back-end, that makes you more valuable than any other front-end developers who could only do one thing or 1 or 2 things. Now, the second suggestions that I have is that instead of adding more breadth of knowledge into your profession. You should also add in the depth of your knowledge. So meaning instead of expanding horizontally, you wanted to think about like how do you expand vertically? How do you add on more valuable front-end development knowledge into your skill sets? A lot of it, I would say, is coming down to accessibility in front end, web performances, web security, localization, and things like that. A lot of the front end in-depth of knowledge will help you to stand out among other people who are also competing with you in the same role. And a lot of times I think it's really important to continue learning and adding knowledge into your skill sets. I have made a video about the job market a while ago, and I can share with you. The video is right here. Sure that if you're curious about that video, watch that video. I will explain a little bit more about why the job market is like this currently.